Hello, this is the Pursuit of Anime, where we talk a mix of anime and philosophy, and we're here to talk today about the question of how far would you go for a loved one? Now, this question has become apparent, or this topic has become apparent very recently in the story of One Piece with the developments in the plot of one character, or I guess you could say two characters, or even multiple. And it's really gotten me thinking about how far I would go for a loved one. And without further ado, let's get into it. You're joined here by myself, Raven, and Teddy.
Hello.
And we're definitely. I'm pretty sure you've thought about this topic in the past, Teddy. How do you kind of feel about this? Um, about yourself? How far do you see yourself going for a loved one?
It's a good question, man. Honestly, I don't know because we always talk about these hypotheticals and these scenarios of what we would do in certain situations. But I gotta be honest, man. It's it's tough to come up with a surefire answer of, oh yeah, this is exactly what I would do. I
Yeah.
like to I like to believe that I'd be willing to sacrifice a lot, right? Because I feel like there's different ways you can look at it. You can look at it in terms of what's the highest crime you're willing to commit for a loved one, and also how much are you willing to lose of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, like how much you're willing to sacrifice for somebody. I feel like those are the two main kind of ways you can determine how far you go for a loved one. So starting with the first one, how high of a crime I would commit for a loved one. See, I think if we're talking, would you kill for a loved one?
Uh,
Wait a minute, now what are we doing?
I think this is the thing too, and this is how you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Where it's that kind of, and I think we talked about this on the podcast before, where there's people that you can say a lot in the moment, right? Like, oh, I'm
Mm.
gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Oh, if I was in there, I would have done this, I would have done that. But when you're in the moment, you don't know exactly what you're gonna do. So that's definitely something I guess that's important to know. And all of this is just word of mouth, or kind of just off the dome. But once the instinct kicks in, and once I guess you have a clear mind, or the situation as apparent in front of you, the decision might change completely. But right
Mm.
now, speaking from complete comfort and just thinking about it, yeah, I think I would. I think most people would, because the thing is, movies like Taken, um, and things of that nature wouldn't be popular if that wasn't a sentiment that carried a large following. They
Mhm.
carried a long, dedicated following. I think most people feel like if they had their daughter kidnapped, or their mom was in trouble, and you had to take someone's life in order to save them, you would. I feel
You know,
like most
I like
people
that
would.
you said I like that you said that, if it weren't the case, movies like Taken wouldn't be as popular. Because I agree. I feel like for a lot of people, they live vicariously through that movie because many of them wish they would do something like that, right? And they see themselves doing something like that, but then there's a reality of, would I actually do this if I were in this situation, or would I be able to do it, right? Because it's one thing to want to do it versus actually being able to go through with it. For me, I feel like it would depend on the nature of what my loved one needs help with, or what the situation is, or what happened to them. Because I'm thinking there are a few scenarios where my mind probably go blank, and I'll just
Really?
act. Yeah, I'm thinking, for example, and I'll give you some examples that I think you might be able to understand my reaction. Say you have a daughter, and you find out that she got sexually assaulted in any way, my guy, I do not care if I end up in jail, but see, you will feel pain. You will end up in the hospital. You might even, I listen.
Really?
Yeah, I do, because you have to understand that's my heart. That's part of my flesh. You just mess with like that. I ain't no way.
I
You're
thought I
going
but
to pay.
I thought that you were gonna, just have a calm mind, just maybe have a tea and then go to the courtroom, maybe follow all the legal
No,
proceedings
yeah,
like a
sit
gentleman.
down with them and go through the process of why they did what they did, right? So
Yeah.
let's have a counseling session. I need to understand why you did this. I
Bruh.
will kill you after this counseling session, but I want to know. You know,
What the hell?
maybe they may just be some redemption for you yet.
Yeah.
Not through me, right? Because I will do what I do, but I just it's for the future.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot of stories out there. I'm sure we've all heard of like parents when a kid does something horrible. Like let's say, I think there was recently I was watching a video of this minor who they were an immigrant. I believe they were being housed at the Roosevelt Hotel, which is a housing center for incoming immigrants. As from what I know, I'm not very well versed in it. But that's what I take it as. This kid, he opened fire apparently in Times Square. He opened fire. I don't think anybody was injured, but he was shooting in Times Square,
right.
which could have caused severe injury. I mean, that can kill somebody. If you shoot in the air or if you shoot at people, that can cause severe injury and even take someone's life. And so they booked him. The cops came and booked him,
Hmm.
and the mom was crying, like saying, my baby, he's just an innocent angel." And there's this sentiment that a lot of people have that parents sometimes they don't care if their child becomes the most rancid, evil, despicable monsters of society. They'll always defend them and have their back. So that's another aspect of how far people would go for a loved one. People would cover up
I
and
see what
have
you
their back
see.
for horrible
Yeah.
things.
Even if said loved one is technically in the wrong, they still defend them. And
You think you
honestly,
have that in you?
yeah, yeah,
Really?
because at the end of the day, it's like I um okay, actually, let me think about this because I I stand on on the side of justice and what's right. Sometimes I feel almost to a fault where even if I'm on your side, if you do something wrong or if you commit a crime, I have to hold you accountable, even if you know you're somebody that I care about. Like I have to take that stand I because I just don't think it's right. So I'm thinking now. No, I probably wouldn't go that far. I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't go that far. Yeah, because but see, I say that right, but if it's let's say my wife kills somebody, it would have to be very particular circumstances for me to consider covering up for her.
Really?
If yes, but I would depending on the circumstances. If it was in cold blood, if she just got up and said, "Okay, I just decided to kill this person because they pissed me off or because like not a valid reason, like not self-defense, not my life was in danger, I had to do it." Like, if it was genuinely murderous intent,
Yeah.
with no moral justification, then I probably would. I'll be like, listen, I think we gotta go to the police. Gotta turn you in because this is not right. You can't do that. I
Yeah.
say that, but then in reality, I probably be like, well, damn, baby, why would you do something like this? Because listen, if we live in the same house, I do not want to be on that list. I do not want to be next. I'll have to, you know, carefully measure up my moves. I wouldn't be able to just outright tell her, yeah, you're going to get turned in that's a crime.
Yeah.
I would have to be very careful about that.
Well, what do you think about this, Teddy? This was a recent story, not this year, but in the past few years, where there was this YouTuber, a prankster YouTuber,
Oh no,
uh,
here we go.
whose name was Pedro Ruiz. He was 22 years old. Um, he, from what I gather, from what I was reading and researching, he had a YouTube channel where, towards the end of it, he just kept talking about this book. He became obsessed with the book, and he was saying that this book was thick. It was very very thick, and he was into guns apparently. Like the way he talked about guns, he seemed to know a lot about it. So he got this idea in his head that, listen, I need to make a video that's gonna look cool, and the video is going to be me shooting myself, but the book will be in between me and the gun, and the book is thick enough and strong enough that it will shield
Catch the
me.
bullet. Yeah.
It will catch the bullet or shield me or deflect it or what have you, whatever he was thinking. I think he might have been suffering from some type of delusion. I mean, I don't think that's definitely delusional territory. If you think that a book is gonna, shield you from a bullet, that book,
I blame movies and TV shows and stuff like that because they will have scenes where somebody, escapes death because they had a notebook in their chest that the bullet got caught on.
yeah.
Yeah,
If
probably thinking something along those lines.
Yeah, if that even happens, that's like an outlier. That's like an exception. That's like,
That's not the
you
norm.
you should
Yeah.
be lucky, That's like a
Hmm.
chance encounter you have right there. So,
Yeah.
long story short, nobody wanted to shoot him. Everybody was saying no. And so he went and asked the person that he loved the most. And it was his girlfriend who was pregnant at the time. She was 20 years old. I think
Oh
her name
no.
was Monica. And she kept saying no. She kept saying no. That's a horrible idea. You're gonna die. There's no way a book it like you've gone delusional. You're deluded. You've lost your mind officially. Anyways, he keeps pestering her over months, and finally she gives in. And she shoots him for the video.
Hmm.
And I mean, lo and behold, he ends up instantly, unfortunately, passing away from a gunshot wound. And the woman is now in jail for I think second degree manslaughter. Um, Now what do you think about that, Teddy? Do you think that's a case of like going very far for a loved one, like in a hard like in a bad way? First of all,
In a morbid way. Yeah.
in a morbid way, I would never do that, man.
Never.
You should never like even if like a loved one is asking you, they say, "No, I really want this. I really want this. Just do it." At the end of the day, a crime is still a crime, and taking a life is still a life. You should
Yeah.
never make stupid decisions, no matter how much somebody pesters you on and on
You
to
know,
do
one
them.
thing that you added in terms of context to the story that makes me sympathize for her a little bit more is the
Yeah,
fact that she was pregnant.
yeah,
And when you're pregnant, your mind isn't 100% all there. So, and she held out for a very long time because, as you said, he kept asking over and over, and she kept saying no. But I feel like probably in her state, she could only take so much. She probably got annoyed, right, at some point where it was like, I've told you no, I don't know how many times, and now you're gonna. But at the end of the day, it's still a life lost, right? So
yeah,
it's unfortunate. If it's like that, I'm like, don't make me divorce you or don't make me break up because I will not do this. And it just speaks to the poison that social media has become that somebody will go to those lengths just to do something for social media. That's sick.
just for content.
It's just for content. Just for content. That's it. It makes me, stories like that make me very concerned for the future of mankind. That
Yeah,
people get so obsessed with social media that they're willing to go to those. So it's a quick tangent. I saw this post of this girl. She she made a Instagram reel talking about how everybody always praises her for her looks, like how gorgeous she is, and she did something that took a lot of guts, and I had to commend her and respect her for that, which was showing all the makeup and plastic surgery that she's gone through to achieve her looks. because she doesn't look like that naturally. With
Yeah.
this, it's a lot of plastic surgery, and of course, like some working out as well. But especially in terms of the facial structure, it's a lot of plastic surgery that went into that. And I was like, I respect that because it is almost impossible now. Like if you look at out of 10 women that have a prolific social media presence, is only maybe two that are 100% natural. The
Wow.
rest is some kind of enhancement involved in it, right? So I was like, I gotta respect you for showing out like that and basically confirming what all of us knew, which is that social media is a lot of fake. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors for attention, right? To portray an image of you that's not real. But that's besides the point. Long story short, I understand she was pregnant. She shouldn't have shot dude. Like he,
She shouldn't have done that.
yeah, yeah. Like it just, I'm like, no, no. Sometimes you have to make the tougher decisions because you love someone. You know,
That's true.
like this wouldn't be an example of me. To me, that's not an example of someone who went to extreme lengths to for their love because what we're talking about is those are lengths that you go to. It's in order to protect said loved one or to care for them, to come through for them. Shooting them is not on that list.
Yeah.
You
And
feel me?
the thing is, it really makes me think. It's a story that I've been thinking about. Like what is going through her mind now that she's just sitting in a jail cell, and she's like
Did
realizing like,
she?
holy crap, how stupid, like it's such a dumb like story, like in terms of like the decisions made.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you hear the things that he was saying, and you're like, man, that just, who thinks that, and then you hear her making the decision, and it almost sounds nonsensical, but it actually happened, and it's almost ridiculous in a sense.
No,
um
absolutely.
so once you're met with the reality of being in a cold jail cell all alone for maybe the rest of your life, it just it almost becomes like, I don't know, it becomes ridiculous. But there's tons of more examples of this, not just Taken. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Prisoners with Hugh Jackman.
No,
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it. You should watch that movie, Teddy. I think you would love that movie. That movie is incredible.
really
Um,
not.
yeah, it is incredible. It's not like Taken at all. It's a serious movie. I think it was made
Hey,
by
wait, hold on now.
what?
Don't disrespect Liam Neeson with that comment. We're talking about it's a serious movie
It's
trying
a
to
serious movie.
undermine Taken's legacy. Watch yourself, sir. Let's
No, no,
not do
no.
that.
It's Taken is decent, but not the best.
He said, "Oh
But
Lord, have mercy." Hey, anybody listening to this, I am not affiliated with this man. I do not share his views and opinions on Taken. All right.
oh, here we
If
go.
if you're coming for his life, come for him alone. Don't. I don't want to catch any strays because of that. But yeah,
Bro.
continue.
So no, I won't even spoil it, but the movie is made by I think it's made by Denis Villeneuve, who he's the director of Blade Runner 2049, and I think Dune as well. He's a great director, one of the best of our time right now in the last decade. So the movie's gonna be good. And the movie, like, it's not like Blade Runner or Dune where it's like slow plotting, and like, I know it's not for everyone. Like, a lot of people say like, oh, nothing happened. I get it. But Prisoners is not. It's very plot heavy. It's very like more American, like blockbuster style of film. So
Mhm.
anybody can watch that movie. You're gonna love it. It's very like shocking and crazy, and but not in a like a gory way or anything that's gonna be disgusting. It's just very like, the story really gets you invested. And that brings me to another story that gets you invested, with kind of a similar thing, is One Piece. As soon as Luffy gets kicked off of Sabaody, and he finds out what's happening to Ace, look at the lengths that he goes for his loved one, who's his brother.
Mhm.
He goes
Yeah,
across the world for the most part for him,
he literally goes to hell and back.
to hell and back. And he was
Literally.
from, and he had nothing. It's crazy the will of Luffy because most people, let's say this, study, let's say like you hear that like someone in your family is about to die, you know? It's like somebody that you would care about that you would have to like, you know, go out and save.
Hmm.
But the moment you find that out, you go in a jail cell. You know what I'm saying? It's like it would feel impossible to save them then because you're locked up. How are you going to get out, first of all?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
somehow Luffy found a way, and not only that, he sailed across the seas just to get there in time. And you know what? He did. He accomplished his goal. He did save him. He actually did save him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He
He
broke him out.
he succeeded. He succeeded. You know, some people might think he failed, but no, Ace failed him. He succeeded. So,
Yeah, Ace failed himself. He literally went back.
yeah. Oh please.
He literally took steps back. But anyways,
Because of some your daddy jokes, I don't even want to talk about it
yeah,
because
exactly.
Ace as an existence is a disappointment. But that's a
Oh, come
conversation
on.
for another time. It is. And I will show you how whenever we get an opportunity to talk about it. I'll show you how because dude is insane like what he did.
Yeah,
Like, when you talk about Luffy, it reminds me of another one of the big threes, Naruto, and the
yeah,
lengths that Naruto went to for Sasuke, right? I feel like it's one of those situations where like, can you imagine being yourself in a situation where somebody tells you they don't want your help, but somehow you are able to tell that they really need said help, but because of pride or because of their goals, they lie and say they don't want your help. I'm gonna be honest, man. In my opinion, Naruto is a saint. I do not know that I would have the dedication and the patience to keep chasing after somebody who has fought me damn near to the death, and it's kept telling me over and over that they don't want me to help them
yeah,
or save them. It's like how much you need to be. You need to have a really great ability to tell what somebody's going through and the fact that they really need help like that to go through that. Because I can see if you flip the roles, right, and the other way, like imagine you're in a situation where you desperately need help, but because you've been disappointed so many times in your life, you think to yourself, you know what, it's okay, I will do this myself.
yeah,
Even though it's damn near impossible for you to do it. And then people, which are not even people, just one person in particular keeps coming to you and saying, I want to help you. I can see what you're trying to accomplish, and I know for a fact that you cannot do this alone. Let me help you. And you keep pushing them away, and they're still coming back. That's crazy amounts. At that point, I don't know whether to be amazed or scared. Like, do you want something from me? Why you keep coming back and trying to help me so much? Because it's very difficult to see something like that and think it's genuine. It comes from a
yeah,
good place because why would you insist on helping me when you're getting nothing out of it? You're just doing it out of the goodness of your heart because you care that much. To me, that speaks to somebody's character when they're willing to go to lengths like that,
yeah,
knowing full well that you don't want the help. You're like, no, I'm okay, I'm good. They're like, no, I will help you, even against your will, because that's what you need right now. If they come through for me, if that person comes through for me, that's family for life, you know?
yeah,
Because you were convinced that you didn't need the help and you really pushed them away, but they still kept coming back. It's like, nah, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I see how much you're suffering, and you're trying to tell me that you don't need help. Nah, forget that. We in here. We're doing this.
yeah.
It's a special kind of person to do something like that. So when you talk about how far you're willing to go for somebody, I'm thinking Naruto. He went above and beyond the Call of Duty. If you ask me, like, he didn't need to go that hard. He really
And you
did
know
not.
what? And you know what? That's the thing about it. It like Sasuke, everybody would see that and say like, well, why? Like you were saying, that's like one of the biggest questions, and you think that they're crazy for doing that. You know, you even think that they must have something they want to gain from it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
from doing that. But the thing is this: in Naruto's perspective, he already gained everything that he needed to gain from it. It's because he gained something from Sasuke that he was chasing him and trying to save him to begin with. And I'll explain it in a simpler story, like a simpler, like it's the same thing, but a simpler story because it was just one arc, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
big three as well in Bleach. When Ichigo meets Rukia in the first arc, they don't spend that much time together, and so Rukia just, she watches Ichigo just get slashed up, and she's like, "Yo, just stay here. Don't even worry about me. Just stay here in the world of the living. Don't even come to the Soul Society, and you're gonna be fine. I don't even care. We don't even know each other like that. Just
Mm-hmm.
fuck it." And what does Ichigo do? He's willing to go alone into this new uncharted territory where people are like the weakest dude there is much stronger than him. You know, like
Yeah.
there's countless monsters there. It's like
It's
going
basically a
into the dark
suicide
continent.
mission. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like going into the dark continent of Hunter x Hunter just to save somebody that you met like a month ago or a week ago. And so you're thinking, why? And you see everything that Ichigo goes through, everything. And another like a small tangent, but something that even is a bigger testament to this as well, and a kind of a different aspect. Orihime and Chad and Uryu, they didn't even really know Rukia like that. They didn't spend much time with her at all. And they even said this in the arc, like, listen, we're doing this not because of Rukia. We're literally doing this because of Ichigo, because
We don't
he's the
want you to
one that,
die out here.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he has this goal, and we see him working so passionately towards this goal that we're gonna help him out. It's like this, Teddy. If if I see, let's say we're in close proximity, we live together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we live close to each other, and let's say hypothetically you want to become a tennis player. I may not know anything about tennis, but because we're such good friends and we built that bond, it doesn't even matter that I'm not into tennis. I'm going to see some way that I can help you in that goal because I see that you're passionate about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's that concept that Orihime and Chad had with Ichigo, where they're like, listen, we don't know why he wants to save her, and we don't have to know why. We're just here. We know that he wants to save her, so we're here. And we're ready to put our lives at, or like, that is a massive testament to how far you would go for a loved one in Bleach. And it's very underrated. A lot of people don't talk about that. So, tangent done. Ichigo saves Rukia in the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you find out why he was doing it. When he tells her, listen, it's because of you that the rain stopped, Rukia. Thank you. And that the reason is the reason why he would go that far for somebody that he didn't know is that it's as simple as this. She meant something to him. He was going through a lot of depression. He was going through the loss of his mother, and meeting Rukia gave him a way to overcome that. It's as simple as that. She had a big impact in a very short period of time. So it's the same way with Naruto and Sasuke, where, yeah, they didn't know each other for a billion years. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. But for Naruto, Sasuke meant something to him. And in the end, when they
Yeah.
finished fighting, they talked about it. They talked about what they meant to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sometimes as simple as that. And that's why um, love is kind of so powerful, because these people, they mean something to you, and when somebody or something is threatening to take that kind of meaning away from your life, you would go to very far lengths to protect that, because life is kind of all about meaning. I think we've talked about this in the podcast before, about my views on life, that we all make our own meaning in some way,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not. So I
Let me
mean,
ask you this.
yeah.
Would you be willing to become a bad guy or a villain for a loved one or loved ones?
I think to an extent. I think and I've experienced this in my life. I don't know what triggers this. I've noticed recently, like, I love people a lot differently. Um there's some people that I'm very goofy around, very silly, very like soft spoken around when I'm
Yeah.
talking to them, and I love them. But then there's a lot of people that I don't know what triggers this, but I'm like kind of a lot like Jotaro from JoJo, right?
My goat. Yeah, go
Like
ahead, go
very,
ahead.
very basically the way I act is very stoic. I act like I really don't like you, like I just like they would think that I hate them. But in reality, what it is that I'm just acting that way because it feels like I have to be that way in order to protect you or in order to, like I guess see you grow or something. I feel like this may I don't know, I don't feel like this happens a lot, but this may happen a lot at work with like people who are like new to serving or something, like people that don't know that much. It's kind of
Hmm.
the concept of, well, I got to be hard on you so you can grow, kind of thing. But it's not usually with people like that. So that's why I say I don't really know what triggers it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that to that extent, I would kind of become a different person, like a different version of myself, like I guess quote unquote bad,
Hmm.
because Jotaro is kind of a quintessential, like what do you call it, like a hoodlum. Look at the way he was talking to his mom.
Yeah.
You
It's
remember
like
that, right? In the prison?
it all came from a place of love. Yeah. But
Yeah,
like, see, this is why I don't understand people that don't like him, because you understand how much of a good person you have to be to put yourself in jail because you realize that you might endanger other people. He walked into that jail cell of his own volition. He's like, y'all need to lock me up because I don't know what's going on with me, but there's something around me that could really hurt y'all if I'm just out in the streets. So lock me up. I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
slow down, Jotaro. Okay, you're talking to me right now. I can resonate with this. So like, he is probably one of the kindest characters I can think of, at least within the JoJo universe. But um, yeah, the reason why I asked you this because I was thinking about a couple of guys that um, I feel like they became icons because of how far they're willing to go in the name of love, or because they cared about either someone or a group of people. I'm
yeah.
gonna start with somebody we haven't talked about in a very long time, Lelouch Lamperouge from Code
Oh, here we
Geass.
go. The goat.
This man, because he wanted freedom and prosperity for his people, he eventually became the bad guy that they had to take down. And he planned it all, and he did it on purpose, just so that everybody would unite and take him down and start fresh
Yeah.
from scratch. You understand how much he basically became a martyr. He sacrificed himself for the sake of a better future for his people. That's
Well,
a level of dedication and selflessness that I don't know that many people can resonate with, because you're basically achieving Jesus status with acts like this,
yeah.
because you're sacrificing yourself for the sake of other people.
He's a
That's
martyr.
He is, that, and that's insane to me that he was willing to do that. On a certain level, Aaron Yeager is like that too.
Oh, thank God you said him and not Subaru from ReZero. I was about to lose my.
What? No, why would I say Subaru, bro? Subaru, he's no.
I mean,
I
dude,
don't.
he technically is going to great lengths. He's dying over and over again just for
Yeah,
Amelia.
I'm about to say, but his reasons for doing that are selfish. It's because he's in love with a girl that doesn't even look at him that way. It's sad. It's pathetic. No, not Subaru. I mean, yes, right?
He's
I
not my
understand
goat.
because he's not. No, he's not. He's not my goat. Not him. You know, he tries, but no, he's not my goat. If he was doing it for Rem, maybe. But I mean, technically, he kind of is right now because she's going through, like, she's in hibernation right now. She's unconscious, but um, no, I'd say Aaron, right? Aaron, he went really far. I mean, and this is why it's so divisive, and I want your opinion on this, because a lot of the fandom of Attack on Titan is divided between the Jaegerists and the anti-Jaegerists, right? The Jaegerists are the people who stand with Eren and what he stood for, what he wanted to accomplish. And the anti-Jaegerists are the people who think that he went way too far in what he did. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I am an unapologetic Jaegerist because
Same.
I'm just my God. Because I'm looking at it from his perspective, right? When he's like, my people have been terrorized, oppressed, mass murdered for generations to the point where we built walls. We restricted ourselves within the confine of these walls, thinking that's all there was to this world. Because we were made to pay for crimes that we did not commit. Are you kidding me? All of y'all gonna die. I'm like, yes, go for it, brother. Teach them a lesson because you are. They were innocent, but they were made to pay for crimes of previous generations. And this speaks to even our world today in certain ways, but I'm not going to get into that today because I feel like that'd be a crazy tangent. But why do you hold these people who don't even know about your existence? Why do you hold them accountable for the crimes of their ancestors that they don't even know, they don't even connect to like that? But why do you do this? So when he went on and did what he did and decimated 80% of the earth, I'm like, well, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm with him.
Yeah.
I completely get it because if it's to protect what's mine, oh, you're gonna feel my wrath. I'm sorry, it's gonna happen, right? So I really resonate with that. And then there's my guy, um,
Who?
gone
Oh, here we go.
when he went crazy on Pito
And that's
because
the thing. That's the thing, real
yeah.
quick. Again, about like people always say, "Oh, why would Gon go so far for Kite, bro? He barely knew him." It's not about knowing a person. It's about what they mean to you, bro.
Hmm.
But I'll let you cook.
Exactly, because it like uh, he didn't spend that much time with Kite, right? Gone. He didn't spend that much time with Kite, but the moments that he spent with him were very meaningful and almost shaped him and defined who he became as a person. Where he values nature and life a lot more as a result of that first interaction he had with Kite as a kid, and he admired him because in Gun's eyes, after his dad, it's Kite. So for him to act the way that he did, I don't understand people that condemned him for it because they say, "Oh, he wasted so much potential. He acted like a child, going crazy like this." I'm like, but he kind of is a child. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And he showed a lot of poise and maturity up to that point. Because, mind you, he wanted to finish off Pito as soon as he saw her or it or them. I don't, her, right? I'm just going to go with that.
Bruh.
when, when she was healing Kamugi, Gon was like, "Nah, you can't be doing this. You can't be healing her and then, you know, killing Kite and playing around with him, like, right?"
Yeah.
But the fact that he held his composure for as long as he did until that fated moment, I was like, no, hey, I don't know that any of us, if we were in Gon's shoes and we were able to do what he did, I don't know that we would have resisted the temptation to do it. Like, can you imagine you're just sitting on this power that you just can unleash at any point in time, and you're just waiting for that trigger?
Yeah.
It's like just give me a reason. Just give me a reason. And that's where he was mentally, emotionally. He was broken. And I feel for him because it's like somebody of Kite stature that had the kind of impact he had on Gon's life to die like, and it wasn't just death, it's the way he got toyed with after death. Like, no, I'm sorry. I agree with Gon and I understood 100% why he did what he did.
I do too, especially when you're that age, like, and you're thrust into a world where you have so much power, and everybody's so powerful, and everything seems very urgent and imminent. I mean, I think most people would do the same if they were in his shoes, his age, that world. It's
Hmm.
very easy to talk in a place of comfort, but you wouldn't know what you would do in the moment.
Exactly.
You know,
Like, it's
most
easy to
people,
judge on the outside.
yeah, Most people are saying, "Oh yeah, I would have never gone back for vengeance. Screw that," or "I would have gone for vengeance." I mean, a lot of you might have just seen him get his head blown off, and you would have stood there frozen like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
And the same thing would happen to you. So it's like, it's there's no as much as we think we would make better decisions, that's not always the case. And sometimes we would go far for a loved one. That's why it's such an interesting topic, because we hear these stories about how far people are willing to go for a loved one, cover up crimes, change their entire person. I mean, this is more of on a small scale, but I'm sure you've seen this, Teddy. The people that they change their personalities for a loved one. You've seen the dude that he's cool, he's with the homies, dap it up, what's good, and then as soon as he gets a girl, it's is you never see him again. He disappears.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's whipped out, tricked out.
Oh
So
no.
no, fuck. So it is
Oh,
what it is, man. I mean, we've all seen our fair share of homies go down, man down.
I know.
R.I.P. to the
Mm.
age old relationship curse. But that's just another one of the many ways. Do you think that that's going too far, though? I know that like we're talking about crimes being too far, but do you think changing yourself for a significant other is going too far, Teddy? Do you think you should change yourself for somebody else?
So I think it depends, right? Because if it's something where the change would also be beneficial to you as a person, I think you should do it. Because like because the change we're talking about is like, oh, you're completely disconnected from your friends and all that stuff. And I feel like to some extent I can understand if you're trying to build a future with this person, you know it's going to take time, effort, dedication. So you won't be able to spend as much time with your homies in the moment, like at first. But eventually, once you start achieving those goals and getting to a place where you're more established with your partner, then you can definitely return to the homies and everything.
Yeah,
Like because it's a phase in your life, and if they're really the homies, they'll understand, right? It's like, okay, we understand that you're trying to build something here, and that takes time and effort, and that's going to keep you away from the boys for a minute, right? But it's like one thing that's beautiful about male friendships is that even if we don't talk for extended periods of time, we're still homies. Whenever we reconvene, whenever we get, you know, to hang it out again together, it's gonna feel like we never stopped. That's usually the way. Like I'm talking like with the real ones, the ones that you're really tight with. That's
yeah,
usually the way it goes. So I try to look at it as you didn't necessarily change. It's just that you have different priorities now that you need to address, right? Because it's like, let's say you discover that a member of your family has come down with a very severe illness, like a cancer or something, and so now you have to end up taking care of them.
yeah,
Yes, that would make you change as a person, but that's required because of the situation you find yourself in, right? So I feel like it's like that sometimes where it's like, well, these are the current circumstances, right? And they call for me to be a certain way. So that's the way I look at it. You know,
yeah. That's true.
uh, it can be like that sometimes. But no, if you're just becoming a different person that isn't true to who you are, just for the sake of honoring your relationship, no, that's I'm not with that. But I understand that there are times where you're just going to adapt, I guess, to a changing environment. So,
Yeah, there can always be compromise, definitely for sure. It doesn't always have to be a drastic change.
hmm
But but yeah, man. I mean, I guess we're really hitting it like on the nail, hitting the nail on the head, as they say with this. How far would you go for a loved one? That's what
oh
that's what
yeah.
that's the way that we do it. Do you kind of have any last kind of thoughts or anything you were thinking about this topic or?
I mean, You know, it's a lot, man. It's a lot, especially when I watch. 'Cause I've been watching a lot of anime again recently, and I just see so many depictions of people going to absurd lengths for people they care about, and then that reminds me of other characters that I've done. So like, I mean, that's literally one of the reasons why people love Zoro in One Piece so much. That nothing happened moment,
Yeah,
iconic stuff, right? And that's literally him sacrificing himself for his captain and his crew because he could have died. He was supposed to die, but he cheated death, right? He was like, no, my captain needs me. I need to stay alive no matter what. And he just stood there in a pool of his own blood talking about nothing happened. Like, bro, you're swimming in blood. But you're talking about nothing happened. But, it's just that level of love and selflessness and dedication to someone. It's like, it's inspiring. And when I see depictions like that, I like to believe that I'm capable of the same. So
yeah, that's
hopefully
true.
it's inspiring to other people as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, it is what it is. This was just like kind of a precursor to a bigger topic we had in mind of like kind of how much can the human spirit handle or something along those lines. How much
That's right.
is it humanly possible to handle? It's been very apparent recently with like stories like Kuma, willing to give his basically his self for his daughter and for the future for the people.
If,
Um,
if it's for somebody that you really care about, even the greatest of trials is worth it.
yeah, it definitely is. And although like the first few examples we brought up were kind of negative, like oh yeah, how far would the crime be? We did bring up examples of this kind of sentiment being a positive. You know,
Hmm.
like being used for good, being used to make you stronger, to make you, more willing to help other people in need, sacrificing yourself for others. Um, you know, it's a very
Yep.
powerful sentiment that love is, and how far you would go for a loved one. But I guess that's really it for me. This has been a great topic to get into. We're still developing day by day. I'm still trying to catch up to JJK, and
Yes,
you
please
know,
do.
yeah, I need to catch up to Chainsaw Man. Also, I'm a little behind on the manga, but I'll do that ASAP.
Yeah,
And
I'm also behind to a little bit, but oh my God, that reminded me. This, yeah, never mind. Yeah, go ahead.
what happened? What happened?
No, just the way that part one ended. It was it
Oh
was it was
yeah,
related to love, right? The way it ended, which is so original. That's why I always consider Fujimoto one of the goats because that was really original. I'm like, oh, I see you, sir.
yeah. Honestly, he's a very quality writer. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with that, I guess we'll leave you all on a good note, and we will catch you next week on the next one. Peace.
Peace.